Welcome to my channel. I'm Lucious Fletcher, Lucious Day. This is
AJ Fletcher.
And today we're here to talk to you about the perfect woman. Does it exist? For you, does it exist? For me, does it exist? How about you go first? Can you?
Do I think the perfect woman exists? Yes and no. Is that an answer?
No, it's not an answer. I think that there is a perfect woman out there for each individual because there's, 4 billion women out there? That's a lot of opportunities. 4 billion is a lot of chances for you to find the perfect one. And me as a man, 23 years old, I'm not picky. It's actually more about what I don't want you to do versus what I want you to do. Because at this point in my life, I'm more independent than I've ever been, and I'm not looking for a lapdog like I may have been in the past.
What's your definition of perfect, though? Because every relationship is going to have, arguments here and there, right? Every relationship is going to have, disagreements, right? So when I think of perfect, I think of everything is correct. There's nothing wrong. On a test you take, everything gets 100. What is your definition of perfect?
Perfect to me, truly perfect, is that you never have anything go wrong between you and that person. And wrong is a strong word, but you're never at odds with each other. If you like a person and a person likes you, if a person wants you in their life, you're never going to be upset at that person, and that person's never going to be upset to you to the point where you don't want to talk to them or you don't want them to be in your life. They don't want you to be in their life. That to me is where it starts, because if you hold grudges, if you hold hate in your heart, that's a recipe for no relationship to me. It's terrible to be in a relationship or with anybody around you that disagrees with who you are innately, and especially does not want to talk to you about it or can't explain why it's advantageous for you to change. So that to me is where perfect starts.
So I disagree with him on a lot of things. Usually most days. To me, the audience should know that this is coming from a 22-year-old mentality. Just turned 23, okay?
I said it 23.
23-year-old mentality versus a 37-year-old mentality. At 22, right, he believes he knows the world. At 37, I've seen and known more stuff than he could ever imagine. So I think, my perspective is more real, where his perspective is what he wants to believe. I think, again, for the perfect girl, what I would envision is perfection. Perfection in communication, perfection in looks, perfection in education, finances, right? And, being able to have a perfect family, right? Because when kids come in the picture, which I have a kid, when kids come in the picture, things change. So do I believe in a perfect woman at first sight? Yes. Do I believe in a perfect woman 5 years into a relationship? No. But I do believe I do believe in love at first sight. So I guess I would think, yes, there is a perfect woman at first sight, but I don't think it will always be there. I don't think somebody's going to live their whole life with, one person and say, that's the perfect woman, in my life. If there were some arguments, some discrepancies, some breaks between the relationship, right? It's a happy, good woman, right? Or a happy, good spouse, but I can't say it's perfect, which I'm okay with accepting not perfect, right? Perfection is very hard to reach. It's very challenging. It's something you have to strive to be every day. And a lot of people, most people, 99.9% of people don't have it in them to be perfect every day. So again, I do not believe in the overall picture of there being a perfect woman based off of my 37-year-old mentality and a 23-year-old mentality.
So the point I want to disagree with you, or at least ask you a question on, is, so you said that her looks, her finances, this and that. Do you think it's possible that to different people, perfect means different things? Maybe to you, perfect is a 5'6" woman that weighs, let's just say 170 pounds, right? But let's just say for me, a perfect is 5'10" at 150 pounds. I don't think that there's one set factory settings that you can choose as a man or woman to be perfect to everybody, but I think that you can pick specific choices in your life to be tailor-made to somebody perfectly. So if I was in a relationship and I knew that the girl that I was with wanted things X way, I could make myself be at the level where I have to perfectly do those things. And on paper, it'd be perfect. But once again, I think perfect is just something that you're willing to accept because, I mean, and once again, I don't want to sound, not once again, but I don't want to sound like a bitch by saying this. But if you're with a woman and you spend time, energy, all this stuff on her, for you to live with her and do all this stuff with her and for her not to be able to smile at you, look in your eyes and say, honey, you're perfect. For her to be like, oh, I like you, but there's a guy that's a little bit better. That's like a...
Okay. Oh, don't move the camera.
Yeah, exactly. That's like a, oh man, like we got to really think about this. If you have to live your life and you have to accept the fact that you're never going to be good enough for somebody to even just entertain you by calling you perfect or even feel it in their heart, even if they know obviously you're probably not going to live forever, you probably shit and sleep and all that stuff, but if somebody's not willing to love you enough to feel like you're perfect, there's something wrong.
I like your segue. I like how you went. Now, Exhibit A, right? Exhibit A. This is Google.
Perfect.
Definition of perfect. Having all the required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics as good as it possibly can be. The next part is making something completely free from faults or defects or as close to such condition as possible, right? So again, for me, perfect, there's definitions everywhere, right? So do I think other people have different definitions of perfect? Yes, but there's a blueprint for what perfect is, right? Everyone, if they look at the blueprint, there's no faults, right? It is the best it could ever be. I think that in relationships, it's hard to have it the best it could ever be for a long period of time. I've had, I don't want to say good, I don't want to say perfect. I had good relationships, right? For a good amount of time, but I don't believe in perfection. I believe, when you were saying like, you look at someone's eyes, it's like, you are perfect for me, right? Like,
You're perfect for me.
I think that can be said a lot, right? But I think it's delusional.
Oh, so you think they're lying, or they're not serious in their heart? When
I think they're not looking at everything. I think they're looking at the person in their eyes, the atmosphere, where they're around, what's happening. That second could be perfect to them. But I think if they took 3 steps back and looked at more things, they would understand this is not perfect, right? So I think it depends on how close you are and how focused and how zoomed in you are on something to say it's perfect. But again, that's just because you're zoomed in focused, right? So for a girl that someone may like, right? If they're focused on that girl could seem perfect. Mm-hmm. Just to rebuttal if she likes another guy, that girl could seem perfect to someone if all they want to look at is that girl. However, if they take a couple steps back, that girl may be talking to another guy, right? Which is fine if they're not dating, right? But that changes what perfect is, because perfect, like a perfect love is, from the start, this is everything you wanted, right? And that person knows from the start that you're everything they wanted as well. So it's a mutual agreement. Instead of one person saying, I love you, I just want to be with you. And the other person saying, I'm not in love yet, right? Let's take time, which is the normal conversation, right? Not everyone's going to fall in love right away. And it's very rare for 2 people to fall in love right away together. So I don't believe in a lot of perfect long-term things. I believe in perfect being very close and zoomed in and focused on. Or I believe perfect to be for a couple of dates, a couple of events, right? I don't think perfect lasts.
I think that was a well thought out explanation, but I would counter that argument with the fact that, of course, we're dealing with life, and all of us are human. We all breathe. So, with the fact of the matter that nobody makes it out of this life alive. The reality is that no matter how perfect you are, even the losers go back to the lobby. No, even the winners go back to the lobby. I'm sorry. And those winners include the perfect dime pieces. Right? That includes the stud dudes with the 12 packs and the billions of dollars. That includes those people too. So, yes, just because I say the word perfect and I believe it exists does not mean that I think that anything is faultless. I think that depending on who you ask, what view you're looking at, like you said, kind of with how zoomed in you are on something, that gives it its value. Because at one point when you meet a guy, or at one point when you meet a girl, you just may want to pipe. You just may want to get some motion, right? But who's to say 4 years down the line you don't say, I've got a loss in my family. Life is really precious. I don't want to just keep going in and out. I want to really stay inside of something. The perfect girl in that situation would go from being just a hookup to, all right, yes, please wife me up, right? So I think that adjustableness, someone that can be trained, or if you can train yourself to somebody, that's going to be the best outcome, instead of just thinking that you're going to be alive and you're going to live your life focusing on you, and then all of a sudden you're going to wander into somebody else's life, and it's just suddenly all of a sudden you're going to like them and they're going to like you, and it's not going to work out that way. You're going to need to evaluate somebody like a stock, right? You look at somebody, you say, okay, this person is this age, with this things that they care about, with this body, everything. You look at everything about them that you can, right? Because you don't know everything about anybody ever. And you make a conscious decision. Do I want to put myself in this situation, in this predicament? How could this go well? How could this go wrong? How do I avoid it going terribly? How do I make it go right? You have to be responsible enough as your own individual, as your own parent, essentially, to make the right decision to steer yourself away from the people that you should know are bad for you. The people who only want to fuck. The people who only want to spend money. The people who only want to waste time and drink and party. Those are people that can't stand to be around you and just themselves, sober, no distractions. That's not the type of person you want to be with. That's not the type of person that's going to stay with you ever. What I would suggest that anybody have in their life is, first, you need to be okay by being with yourself. Not just okay, like you need to be able to say, I'm thriving. Look in the camera, look at yourself and smile with a straight face and really believe it. I'm thriving, I'm happy, I'm good by myself, I love life. Because if you take a damaged person, someone who is just barely getting by mentally or physically, emotionally, whatever it is, if you're still deep down inside feeling regret about other parts in your life and you're taking that and putting it into somebody else when you try to get into a relationship with them, you're just wasting your time and their time, and you're going to make things worse for your life. Trust me. Don't ask how I know.
So, I want to rebuttal that as well.
Of course.
Especially this pipe thing that you were doing, right? So let me give you an example of something, right? So the Patriots football, New England Patriots, won all games of the season.
Tom
Brady. And they also won Super Bowls, which means they were the best team. So if you go undefeated in a season, right, and you win the Super Bowl, does that mean you're perfect because you have a perfect record?
I mean, it depends on what yes, you had a perfect record, yes. Depending on if you're thinking about yards lost, right, yards gained.
You're right.
How deep are you going into it is a question that I'm saying.
Right, so it depends on the person who's zoomed in focus. If you look at someone that doesn't know football and they just see 18 wins in a Super Bowl, they're going to be like, that's a perfect team. Right? The Chiefs. They're going to be like, that's a perfect team, right? But if somebody that knows football is looking at it, they're going to be like, no, they weren't a perfect team. They had 15 fumbles, 30 interceptions, they were just a better team, right? So for me, perfect, I'm the coach, right? Even though we won all of our games, we won the Super Bowl, we're still going back in that locker room and practicing because I still saw errors and faults. right? So for me, there's not a perfect thing. There's not a perfect woman. There's going to be faults. So no matter, it just depends on how you're looking at the situation. Like the football analogy, I think that was very understanding for anyone to see. Now, I think, so we've debated, the perfect woman. I think the next question is, what is a perfect woman to you? Right? So if I had to say what the perfect woman is for me, just freestyling and not really thinking about it, number one, loyal. Loyalty means everything.
I think that's what I said, right?
Yeah. Loyalty means everything in a perfect woman. And
ladies out there, you looking?
Yeah.
Loyal women who love Mr. Fletcher here. Hit the line. He has the socials. Just ask for them. I'll give them to you if you're worth it, right? But go on. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Ironically, both of us are Mr. Fletcher. But loyalty is everything. It ties in with respect and trust, right? So if you're loyal to me and you respect me, then I think you'll hear what I have to say and you're willing to do it, right? There's not really a debate or an argument. We could talk about it, right? But there's some things that don't need to be talked about. Some things you just have to, understand. So some words don't have to be said for you to understand it, right? So when I say loyal, is, hey, you're riding with this person no matter what. If you agree or you disagree, you're still going to ride with that person no matter what, right? You're still going to show that you love this person no matter what. You're going to show that you agree with them in public, even if you don't. You're going to respect them and put some respect on their name, right? Nobody can talk bad about this person, right? If you hear someone talking bad about that person, you don't stay quiet. You go up and approach the situation, right? Like, you show this person is yours. Loyalty is everything. Respect, loyalty, and trust. Very, very important things, right? The next is, just building a family. Is this person able to build a family? Could we be financially stable, right? Could we grow, our incomes together and get the house that we want, not just the house that we could afford, right? And could we have the kids that we want, right? And teach them to live good lives and all that? Like, is this person someone who I can marry, right? And have a life with, where I will be happy if kids, came in the picture. Another thing is just sex appeal, right? I think in order for there to be a perfect woman, you have to be physically attracted to them, right? And not just physically attracted to them, right? Because I could look at anyone and be like, that person's pretty, but they don't have any sex appeal, right? Maybe, it could be like a tomboy, right? Like, tomboys don't really do things that girly. Like, I like feminine. I like sexy, right? I like class. I like the way you dress. I like the way you do your eyes. Something special about you has to be sexy, right? It has to turn me on to where I want you every day, every second, right?
Listen up.
So they have to have sex appeal, and also they have to be a nice, kind, good-hearted person, right? If you meet my family, I don't want my family thinking negative about you. Right? And even if they do, if I'm loyal to you, I'm going to stick up for you regardless. Right? That's the rules of the game. No matter what anyone thinks. Family, mother, sister, right? You still have to stand up for your woman. But I don't want my family not to like you. Right? I don't want people to say things about you around me, right? Or when I'm not around, because I care for you that much. Right? And because I care for you that much, I don't want you to give anyone any energy to think that, you're a bad person. Now, I get sometimes it has to come off that way, right? Depending on who it is. It could be a guy harassing her, right? And just complimenting. I get it. You may have to come off aggressive, right? But on a normal basis, know who to be aggressive with and who not to be, right? If it comes to my family, don't be aggressive. Let me handle it because it's my family, right? Just like I'm going to let you handle it if it's your family. And if you want me to step up and, be more active in the communication with your family, I'll do it. And if I want you to step up and have more active communication on resolving stuff, I will tell you. But that goes back to that loyalty, trust, respect. I will tell you. You have to listen for my cue before you just go ahead and start talking crazy, right? And again, it can be friends, family, someone on the street, right? I think a man leads, right? So a man should always lead, unless he wants his woman to lead, right? So like in cooking, I'm not going to lead, right? I will tell the girl, you got this, right? If you need me to do something, let me know, right? I'll set the dinner table, right? But in most situations, outside of the household, I think man should be the leader in that. And so you just got to play off of cues, right? And that goes back to what's not said still should be understood. I shouldn't have to verbally say like, hey, don't talk to this person. You should just know because you know me, right? So there's a lot of opponents to a perfect woman to me. But I think the top ones I already said. There's still so much more. Education's very important to me. Right, and that doesn't mean you have to be school educated.
I'm surprised that you said, but I want to ask you a question about what you said earlier. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, do you want this?
So, you were talking about the fact that when there's disagreements between you and someone's family or whatever, the fact of the matter is that you should be together in dealing with it. The person that you're with should already be on you. You should already be talking about it. It shouldn't be my family thinks this. Oh yeah, well it shouldn't be like you're playing telephone between different groups of people. The only situation that would happen is if you have a woman or a man that's not really locked in, that's focused on this person, that person, the other person, and not you. I would say that we're giving terrible advice if you are a guy. If you're a guy, don't tell him. Don't what?
You tell him.
Don't. You're no bitch. You can't. If you do that, they are going to think that you're worthless. You don't even think about why. It doesn't matter why, to be honest.
Right.
I'm about motion, not emotions. Okay? Because when you have emotion, you're sitting there. I mean, it can be good. It can be bad. I've seen people, me myself included, I'm like, oh, I'm going to make this money. Wow, I'm so excited.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to get this girl. She's so bad.
Right.
But in reality, don't count your eggs before they hatch. Don't count your chicks before they hatch because that could always fall through. It could all be smashed. That girl could be finessed. She could die. Literally, everybody has stuff to deal with. You can't depend on anybody but what you have control and power over. So if you're a girl, you have control and power over what you choose to do, who you're loyal to, what you dedicate your life to. If you're a guy, you have power and control of the same things, but the pitfall that I feel and see with a lot of guys is it's almost like the roles have been reversed. Back in the day, before I was born, allegedly it was that women would get told to cater to the guy, like, oh, you gotta get a good man, you really want a good husband, right? But now it's like, I've heard more girls talk about having a hot girl summer or a city girl, whatever, just wanting to be like Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Sexy Red, Glorilla, all these people that only talk about shaking their ass and fucking and abortions and this and that. That type of personality, I feel, has had a negative impact on the average woman watching this video. Even the dimes, right? Because if the dimes are living their life and they see other people that they even think are dimes, and they see them doing degenerate behavior, what would stop them from saying, oh, well, this dime is doing it. It obviously must be a fully functioning thing, must be a fully functioning unit to be able to maintain this look of being a 10, that I look and see that, and also have whatever she's doing on the side. But let me tell you, that shit will get old real quick. Like, you're going to age. It'll tell you, I'll tell you, you're going to age. Especially if you're not taking care of your body, if you're not eating right, if you're not sleeping good enough, if you're not taking care of literally everything in life when it comes to your body, your body's going to change, your preferences are going to change, your wants are going to change. That's why I'm saying the perfect woman to me is a woman that's adjustable, a woman that loves me so much that she will change and adjust with me for who I am because she believes in me. Not, oh, like you were saying, basically when things are good, it's easy to kick it back and say, oh, we're watching TV, playing the game, whatever it is, and life is good, we got money, whatever it is. Remember, different people want different things. Some girls are going to just want to drink all day. Some girls just want to go outside and have fun. You have to know how you can be drained of value and how you can grow your value. And let me tell you, I've never gained anything but experience from dealing with any woman. They've never gifted me egregious amounts of money, bought me cars, none of that. That's not going to happen for 99.999995% of people. So as a man, focus on yourself, build yourself up. And if a woman cares about you enough, she'll eventually just tell you, right? As a guy, sure, express to women that you care about them, but don't harp on it, because that at that point, if they already don't care about it enough to even talk to you about it continually, they obviously don't care about it. You need to know your value, preserve your value, grow your value, and focus on yourself. No matter the woman, no matter the time and place in your life, no matter the guy that you're with or the guys that you've been with, you need to focus on what you're going to do with your life. Because even if you're 6 years old, six-year-old me, even if you're 6 years old, great big smile on your face, that's going to change. And you're still that person inside, but if you're living life like a thought, you won't know it.
Would you adjust for a woman? You said a woman needs to adjust to a man. Would you adjust for a woman?
I would adjust, and I have adjusted things for women that are advantageous, that are good. I'm trying to think of a girl taught me how to drive manual. At first I was like, oh, why would I want? Oh, it's hard, right? But I mean, to be honest, I'm not going to say that. I wanted to learn, but even just a few months before that, asked about cars and manual shit, I didn't fuck with it. But just seeing this girl, seeing how she was, seeing how confident, I mean, no, it sounds beta, right? But how confident she was in her ability to do things at such a young age made me know inside that I need to step it up. So when I see girls that are on their path, that are being successful in ways that I admire, I notice, and I would change how I'm doing things to better emulate them or make even them better if I can. So yes, I would change a woman, depending upon.
Okay, yeah.
Of course, what it is.
Because I would disagree with you. I don't think you would do that, but we're gonna go off of what you say. I want to go back to the chasing, right? So just to spit some game, is that what they call it now?
Spit some game.
Spit some game.
Spit some game for him real quick, AJ.
There's other definitions that people call now in 2024. I can't think of them. But
give him that Riz. There we go.
Riz. That's what I was looking for. Riz.
Here, do you want that? Here you go. Give him that Riz, Fletcher.
So, if you lust over someone, you're gonna chase them. But if you love someone, you shouldn't chase them. Lust means it's something that like you just want, right? If you lust over something, go ahead, chase it. Because you're not gonna live it down. You're always gonna be like, man, I shoulda, right? So now me, I'm the type that's not gonna chase regardless. Lust, right? I'm too old to lust over things, right? And I guess you're never too old to lust over things, but like the person I am, I don't want to lust over anything. However, if there's someone that I meet that I like, right, and I can see myself potentially falling in love with this person, I want them to like and potentially think they can fall in love with me too. I should not have to chase you.
Can I ask you, what does love mean? Because you said that you could fall in love with them. What does that mean to you?
So I think when I say you could fall in love with someone, right, because that's what you should be thinking about if you're looking for a long-term relationship.
Most people just want to pipe.
Some people, and that's lust. That's lust, right? And they're going to chase lust because they want to do it, right? But if you want to do it the right way, don't chase, right? If you think, hey, this person could be something serious, you're not supposed to chase them.
Now that gives me another question. Is there a right way to go about dating or really anything in life? Is there a right way to do things? Okay, let's just start with dating. Is there a right... So, AJ, there's this baddie that I know. Is there a right way to approach her?
Yes. So, if you know the baddie, because you said there's a baddie that I know. Keyword, no. Right? So, if you know this baddie, you should know how she should want to be approached. I think women tell you who they are by their body language, by their conversations, right? Where men are quiet and you have to figure out who they are internally. But women show you who they are on the outside. So, yes, I think there's a right way to approach a woman that you know. And you should always approach confident. If you're not going to approach confident, don't approach it at all, right? Especially someone that you want to be in a relationship with, or someone that you think you could potentially fall in love with. You got to come with confidence.
If you don't come with confidence, like you said, don't even come at all, because the chances of you ever getting to come is about 0.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you spit some heavy, hard game on him, to be honest. I think that...
You like the lust love?
No, I think what you just said was the biggest. Yeah, women tell you who they are by how they act and like how they're moving, how they're like literally what you see, what you hear is what you get.
Right.
I mean, and even if you're not able to discern what that means, if you give it enough time and experience, you'll understand what type of person that is. Just like with dudes, I'm imagining, right? I can point out fit dudes, right? I'm like, oh, that guy's jacked. Oh, this guy's fat, right? I can see dudes that are focused on a specific thing. Oh, this guy likes cars. Oh, this guy likes the UFC, right? So you just need to be open to understanding other people. Seek first to understand, then seek to be understood, right?
Right. Now, a controversial topic, right, is body count. Body counts. It
matters.
It matters. It does matter.
It shows reality.
Yes. So body counts are important. How many people did they have sex with, right? How many people did they fool around with, right? How many people could say that they've had her, right?
And why does that matter to the audience?
So that matters because...
With a girl.
Yeah, it matters because... You don't want a girl that's given everything to everyone, right? If this is someone you want to be with, you want to be the only person, right? If there was a girl that never slept with anyone, that's 100% perfect because they've never been with anyone. You could experience things together for the first time. And I'm saying the man, like, it would be awesome if he was a virgin as well, but you're not always going to find that. Mm-hmm. But if you could find a woman that's never experienced sex, you get to experience everything with her for the first time. Now, one body, I would give it a 99.9, right? Depending on the age. If you're like 15 and you got one body, I'm going to be like, right? Like, that's bad. But let's say you're 30 and you've had one body, right? Which it's rare, but I do know girls that are 30 that have one body.
At least the ones that tell you that they only have one body.
But that's like a 99.9%. That like you're still as close as pretty perfect. Pure. Yeah, you're still pretty close to perfect, right? 2 bodies may bring you to like 96, right? I think we have to go like frame. So yeah, I think 2 to 4 bodies. It's like a 96. I think it goes down to like 95 at probably, what did I say, 2 to 6.
You said 99, 96.
Right. So after 7, it goes to like 90%. After 15, it's like 80%. Right. So bodies count, right? And men have it in their head what they think of you based off of how many bodies you have.
That's just a start.
Right. And men do think about that when they are thinking seriously about being with a woman. How many bodies does that girl have? Right, it's very important, and it's very controversial. Some people may think it's immature, right, to care how many women a body has, but to me, it does matter. If we're talking perfect, what I consider perfect, right? I would love to experience someone's first everything, right? I know at my age that's not realistic. I mean,
it's possible. There's a new 18-year-old every day. One of my top phrases. There's a new 18-year-old or 16-year-old in the UK every day. Did you know that In the UK, the age of consent is 16. Fellas, the age of consent in the UK, I've never been there, is 16.
It's scary, you know that.
My grandfather had married my grandmother when she was 27, and he was 50 years older than her. No, that's not when they got married. That's when my mother was born. My mother was born when my grandfather, who's 50 years older than my grandmother, had a baby with her. And then they had twins after that. So don't ever give up. You can always get what you want. Always think that there's more out there for you, because there is. There's 4 billion men and women on the planet. And if you have any thoughts, questions, comments about people that you've dealt with, been with, people that you want, ask us about it, because we do a service. We evaluate people for you. We tell you what you think. We tell you what we think about them with our experience. Over 50 years of experience. And what I would say is never settle. You don't want to be in a situation where you know that you have multiple choices and you say, I got to make a decision, I feel like, so let me choose something that I know I don't really want. It's just what I got right now. I'm the type of person I would rather have nothing than have something that I actually don't want. Because remember, everything you do takes sacrifice, time, energy. Anything you do takes something out of you. So don't let stuff that you don't even care about, stuff that you don't even want, take your life away.
So a couple of things with that, right? Man, there was something that you said that I really wanted to talk
16
about.
16 years old,
well,
UK.
Yeah, that's scary. But I think, breaking down body counts could be a whole conversation in itself. It depends on so much,
the
right?
Age first.
It depends on the age. But that could be a whole hour conversation in itself if we actually broke it down.
There's so many different ways that it can go down, right?
Right. So, now I think that's controversial. The other thing I wanted to talk about is a hoe face. Women, that's another controversial topic. Women will tell you that women do have hoe faces. Women tell it to each other.
It's their whole life.
And there's even a whole bag that they have, right? Like,
I didn't even know that.
My one night bag, like where they keep a bag in their car just in case they sleep somewhere for one night, right? It's an actual thing. Right? So I think with women saying that and telling us, right? Because I think most men heard that from a woman.
I've never heard that before. I'm actually.
Well, you probably never heard about the bag, but if you see a woman that has a bag in her car, full of what outfit, like soap and all that, it's a hoe bag.
Yeah, I was thinking about like all the girls in the past. Have they ever had a hoe bag? Luckily, no.
Yeah.
They're all hoes anyways. That's my opinion. They're all hoes anyways.
But yeah, we hear so much about the hoe phase. That's important if this girl had a hoe phase or not. Now, this guy probably thinks every girl has a hoe phase, right? Where I am hoping that that's not true.
Not all, but very, very, very most 99% of people have a hoe phase. And hoe is just a subjective word. I don't put a specific definition on it, but just like he was talking about, you can have sex in ways that is hoe-y.
Thought-like, yeah.
You could do shit that's thought-like. So just because you have 3 bodies at 30 doesn't mean that you're still in a thought. You could have gotten threesomed in a glory hole at wherever, right? And that's thought. Why would I want a wife taking care of my kid if I have one, right? And in her past, in her mind, the reality of the fact that all right, guy won. No, bro.
Yeah, and I thinking about this out loud, right? There are girls that will sleep with you on the first time meeting you. That men don't respect that, right? They enjoy it,
but then
right?
they think it's like, does she do this with everybody?
Right? They think
am I really that special?
Right? Oh. They think about how many times has this happened in the past, right? Like, because it's inevitable for a man to think negative if he sleeps with you on the first night, right? He's going to have thoughts. And he's going to love the experience. Like, don't get me wrong. But there's going to be thoughts about it happening on the first night. And there's a lot of girls that are willing to do things on the first night, right? Especially age groups, right? If you think about age groups, like I think 18 to 25 is really open to like having sex on the first night. I think the older you get, like for me being 37, If a girl wants to have sex on the first night, it's unattractive to me, right?
I'm obviously not older than this guy, but I just have a feeling that because old people are... I mean, now, don't get me wrong. I've met some loser old people that get no play. But I feel like because old people don't give a fuck a lot of times, look at them, they'll just do anything because they have the opportunity. They say, hey, I'm alive right now. Let's get something in.
Okay. I mean, me and him disagree on a lot of things. But, again, the whole phase is the conversation, right?
Wait. Would you disagree that older people probably get it in more than like 24 to 30? Like, let's say...
On a first date?
Yeah.
No.
Old people. All right.
Younger people, I think, get it in on a first date more than older people. Older people have kids. They have a job, right? They have a lot of things that are
in their control.
Right, but they have to plan out things perfectly where when you're young, you don't care about anything but that one night, right? Now, again, with the whole phase, it's unfortunate. I wish that wasn't a thing, but it really is. And
That's another question, man.
Right.
Is it even good or not?
Right. It's really a thing that I believe, and it's not good, right? Like, so I don't want to, like, I have a daughter, right? I don't want my daughter to grow up and me thinking, oh, she's going to have a whole phase, right? Like, that's a terrible thought to have. So, like... so I wish there wasn't anything like that. I wish there was good schoolgirls so my daughter could.
There is.
There's good schoolgirls.
Very slim.
But out of 300, you may get 10.
2. I'm thinking 10.
He says 2, I say 10. Right? But I think maybe out of 100, 1 or 2. But out of 300, I think you could possibly get 10. Right? And is my daughter going to hang out with those 10 girls? Probably not. Right? My daughter likes a lot of conversations with a lot of people, right? So growing up, I know that she's going to grow up and realize the whole phase.
The degeneracy in 2024 is definitely higher than it was in 2001 when I was born. Let's just say that.
Okay. But I hope she respects herself enough to never have that phase. But, like, that's important. That, like I said, that could be a conversation in itself, the whole phase.
Can I ask why it's important for you that your daughter remains a pure, sovereign individual instead of having tons of different types of different people shoved into her?
Shoved into her.
Isn't it like,
okay.
When you think about it in a grotesque
I'm an old
way,
man. You said I'm an old man and things shoved into. So, I mean, let's go back to the beginning of our conversation. What is perfect? If they have no bodies, that's perfect, right?
I have an awesome question.
So, if I want perfect, I should raise perfect. I should act as perfect as I can be, right? Everything I do. So, like, again, the perfect woman. The question is, are you the perfect man, right? And a perfect man, did he have perfect parents, right? How was he raised and all that? I would want Leah to stay pure until marriage, right? And maybe even after marriage, right? Because there's, 50% divorce rate or something like that? So
You don't know if you're safe or not with the first
Right. So I would want her to definitely wait because guys are going to play games, right? And girls sometimes have a hard time understanding the games that they play. They get their feelings hurt and all that stuff, right? I think it's more important for a woman to keep her body pure than a man because some men just can't help themselves. But if a woman does it, it shows you how much, she values herself, how much she respects herself. So what's your question?
I mean, I have that question, but I also was going to say something else, but I forgot that one thing. So if you just somehow found out, right, like let's just say she's not pure, does that make her less perfect? Your daughter.
Okay, so that is a good question though. So if I found out that my daughter had sex, at what age are we talking about?
16.
I would not be happy.
Most of